Okay, so today we are going to talk about the global scale of English. Before even starting the presentation, what is global scale of English? Why was it developed? And because I know that everybody might be aware of CEFR, but not everybody might be aware of global scale of English. So global scale of English, just like CEFR, is also a measuring scale to measure the performance of the learners in English language, so that we can say that a learner is at a certain level, and it defines the level at a very with some kind of objectivity, because you know that language is here, so it cannot be completely objective, but yeah, we have tried to make it as objective as possible. So this is like global scale of English. And why was it developed? Because you know that CEFR, the Common European Framework of Languages, was like, it had some broad levels: A1, B1, B2, A1, A2, B2, B1, B2, C1, C2. So this has some 6 levels in total, the CEFR. So this is like in the mid 19, so it developing the European research study began, and the teachers were given hundreds of can-do statements, and they brought up the Common European Framework, and it was born in the mid 1990s, right? So this was developed in Europe for a European learning environment, and CFR is not only limited to English, it is limited to all the European languages. So it was developed for adult and young adult learners, mainly focused on general English. So in CFR, what we see that there is an uneven distribution of can-do statements across the skills, because the spectrum is too large, the levels and the division is too broad. Very wide levels that may take hours to master. And there is no information below A1. Like if a student of a learner is below A1, how we define it? What is the measuring scale to define that the learner is below A1, or what? Below A1, does nothing exist? Or a language can be said that okay, a learner can be said that he is not even aware of of English language, so we never knew. So you can see the levels in CEFR. So there are 6 levels, and later on it was like divided into plus, like A2 plus, B1 plus, B2 plus, and so like that. But still it was not able to help. You can see there is so much of discrepancy in the can-do statements. In speaking, there was like 65% of discrepancy. So the path is like losing the details. The someone, like if it is such a broad level, I don't know whether I'm at B1 level today or B2 level today, and when do I reach the B2 level? There is no such like a very definite description of like B1, B2 level, that okay, I can say that okay, my learner is at B2 level and he has reached the C1 level. I cannot say that. So that is the problem here. So what we did, we came up with the GSE, that is Global Scale of English. And it was the main objective of GSE was to extend the CFR by pinpointing on a scale from 10 to 90 on 4 skills, that is LSRW: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So that's GSE, Global Scale of English, and you can see that the levels are like from 10 to 90, and so it granularized the CEFR level into 90 levels. From 10 levels to 90 levels, we have granularized the 6 levels into these many levels. So this is, and so we did a lot of research, and almost 6,000 teachers across 50 countries were involved in developing this global scale of English. So you can see this. So A1 is, when we talk about A1, so it is at almost 22 levels of global scale of English, and below that from 10 to 22 it is below A1. So that means it is helpful in gauging the students, the performance of the students even below A1, and we can say we can just tag the students at a certain level even below the A1. So if we have granularized the levels of CEFR, and we have helped the learners, even the teachers, to gauge the correct level, the exact level of the students in terms of English language learning. So you can see how it is like divided. So at 22, this A1 starts, and from 30 to 43, this is the level of A2. From 30 to 43, we count the level of A2, and from 43 onwards till 59, there is B1. And you see that from 30 to 43, there are like 13 levels in even in A2. So the advantage is that there are 13 levels, and we know that how we are progressing, how, like, what level we are exactly. If it is 33, 34, otherwise in CFR we'll say that A2 level. But what level of A2? Whether at the starting level of A2 or at the at the end level of A2. So what is the level exactly? So that helps us to define very objectively the level of students or the learners in English language. And the most, the most beneficial part is that as a learner, I'm motivated constantly. Continuously, I'm motivated because I know that, okay, yesterday I was at 31, maybe after a week I'm at 32 or 33 level. So that will give me that this is my progression, this is my achievement. And for a teacher also, it is very helpful because it gives a clear picture of the learner's development. The teachers also get motivated. So this defines the hours for one level. So this is the 3 points GSE is the smallest measurable progress that we can just count. You can just see from A1 like 22 onwards. It's 120 hours, and you can see the CFR level from one level to another level. It's like so many hours. Sorry. So global scale of English consists of like how do we make it objective, because it compiles so many can-do statements, so many, like how does we define. And so GSE learning objectives, these are the GSE learning objectives which was developed after a very extensive research. And you can see the scale over here, that how do we gauge it. So all these GSE learning objectives are available for the teachers and the institutes, so that we can map the knowledge and the curriculum and the courseware according to global scale of English. So this is a scale, and it consists of learning objectives, course materials, and assessments. So it starts with, actually the GSE in assessment, GSE starts with PTE Young Learners for PTE Academy. You must have heard about PTE Academic, but there is PTE Young Learners exam also, which is being taken by the young learners, and they give the level. You can say that it's a kind of preparation tool also for PTE Academic. later on, but it is for the young students. PTE young learners can be taken by the students below the age of 16 years. So there are different levels in PTE young learners. If you want some more information about PTE young learners, I can provide you that later on. So this is how we align the learning objectives of the learner, and every courseware that we bring is aligned to the learning objectives. So this is an example of grammar. So these are some free resources which you will find as PDF. And there is a GSE Teacher Toolkit, which is also free. So how is it beneficial? Because the teachers can select the type of learner that she is or he is teaching. The learners of general English, the learners of academic English, learners of professional English, what kind of learners, choose learners. And then they can select the level of the class, moving the slider to select a GSE range or a CFR level. And the skill that is being taught. So this is the learning objective, and you can see that we have aligned a certain point to the learning objectives. At the level of 25, GSE level of 25, we have stated the learning objective that is aligned is the learner can understand basic information about someone's likes and dislikes. So how is it helpful? Because the teachers can design the courseware accordingly, according to the learning objectives that are there, given there, and they can just map the learner's performance on this scale. And in CEFR, it is like the level is A1. So everything is aligned to this. You can just see that. What is the, at 30, what is the learning objective? So what is the learning objective in like speaking? So this, you can just, as a teacher, you can just download the teacher toolkit, the Global Scale of English teacher toolkit. And before that, I would just like to present a video which will give you some more information.
GSE Teacher Toolkit is a free-to-use online search tool for quick and easy access to a wealth of GSE information. This information includes 1,600 learning objectives, 36,000 word meanings, and 300 grammar objectives, all of which have been given GSE values in collaboration with teachers around the world, so that you can see exactly what your learners should know at different levels of proficiency. This information will help you to plan lessons, create materials, report on progress, and give feedback to your students. Let's see some examples.
I use the GSE Teacher Toolkit for planning, for adding supplementary materials, and for assessment. For example, next week I'll start class with A2 students, pre-intermediate. So in the syllabus that I need to teach models of obligation. And I went to the toolkit, I selected adult learners and models of obligation, and I could see precisely that between 30 and 36, that is A2 level, there are only two models of obligation, let's and shouldn't, and they appear at 34 and 36. For me, this is a really great help because I know that I should focus on these two modules and not on others, and in the second part of the course.
The Toolkit has informed what I personally have been doing in terms of course design, documentation and delivery. The challenge we face in dealing with adult foreign learners who are perhaps migrants or refugees or asylum seekers is that we have to work at the pace of individual learners rather than work to a very tightly specified syllabus leading to an examination, and in that way accommodate different learning styles and different learning preferences. This is where the toolkit can be valuable in perhaps suggesting additional activities to complement things that have already been introduced but need further reinforcement.
The GSE Teacher Toolkit has helped me to standardise our courses and assessments, calibrate and benchmark.
I use the GSE Teacher Toolkit to create curriculum learning objectives and map them to specific materials. I also use it to help create graduate skills profiles for students and map their progress to assessment opportunities. The GSE Teacher Toolkit is also helpful for curriculum literacy issues with teacher development programmes, particularly with action planning and reflection.
The GSE Teacher Toolkit is a free online database which brings together sets of learning objectives for adults learning general English, professional English and academic English, as well as learning objectives for young learners. Plus, an extensive database of grammar and vocabulary all in one place, and all mapped to both the global scale of English and the Common European Framework. Thousands of teachers around the world are already using it to save time and more accurately check levels, plan lessons, create classroom materials, and report on the progress of their students. To find out more about the GSE Teacher Toolkit and what it can do for you, please visit english.com/GSE.
Okay, so you have seen that how beneficial is the GSE Teachers Toolkit. Okay, but even for a learner, not only for the teachers, the GSE can help them answer the following question. Like if a learner wants to know how good is his or her English, then GSE may help to answer. If the learner wants to know whether the learner is progressing or not, then GSE may help. Then what do I need as a learner? What do I need to do the next? So that can be answered by GSE. So overall, it is designed to support the curriculum and design courseware and assessment for the teachers and all for the teachers and learners. So this is about the grammatical category. So these are the learning objectives of grammar. So you can see that I have 7 learning objectives to choose from, 35 and 45, A2 plus to low B1. How granularized it is now. So this is how like detailed it is. You can see the details. So this is all the GSE and the CEFR aligned to the can-do statements or the learning objectives. So these are the kind of exercises that Pearson has in the courseware terms, in the teacher's toolkit. these are some examples of the learning objectives. Okay, any questions? Dr. Swamy, any questions which are coming up?
Yes. Is that over? I mean, there are a couple of questions I have noted down. I will discuss once you finish. Is that
Okay.
over your presentation? I mean, still it is.
So this is like job tasks for the employability skills and all. So how we can use the GSE learning objectives for the employability skills, how we can map or align the learning objectives with the employability skills. So these are some examples. So this is how even in employability, not only for the young learners, but for the adult learners also, we have certain defined learning objectives for the employability, so that the learners may be proficient in this communication skills and they can be hired in big corporates or big companies. So this will help. So this is how the GSE can help in the job tasks and in identifying the learning objectives for specific jobs also. So that is also for like English for specific purposes. So you can see that for particular jobs also we have defined the learning objectives. So whether it is for healthcare practitioners and technical, for a specific job role. So how vast and how extensive is global scale of English? So you can see the learning objectives defined for the professional learners, which are like the job role is licensed practical and licensed vocational nurses. So, Dr. Swamy, what I meant was like they can just ask any question if there is some confusion or some question is there, because we will be running short of time, right?
Not a
Already.
problem. Still, we have some time, not an issue. And once you finish, I mean, they might ask you to go back to certain presentation, certain part of the presentation. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Well, yes. So let me just a concluding note. Thank you very much, Shweta ma'am, for accepting this, my request to talk on GSE. And then that is a wonderful presentation. It is a lot of details.